What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Realms of Metal. Eddie here, back with you from my happy place, my metal room here in the woods in PA. What is going on? It's Friday afternoon. I just got home from work a little while ago. It was another long ass work week. That's in the books, but I'm chilling here. We're going to review the new Vincent Crowley record, Anthology of Horror. This is a record that I had been anticipating for months, and I was finally excited to get my hands on. I got it last Friday in the mail, and I've been listening to it all week, at home, in the car, at work, in the shower, when I'm asleep. Doesn't matter. I listen to the any chance I could get. And I'm excited to talk about it, so let's get at it, shall we? Brief history on the Vincent Crowley Band, in case you didn't know. Formed in 2019 in Columbus, Ohio by Vincent Crowley and Art Taylor after the breakup of Acheron. The music of the Vincent Crowley Band can be described as traditional heavy metal / doom metal with kind of like a death metal flair. And I think that death metal flair comes from Vincent's vocals, that kind of harsh vocal that he does. Really great stuff. The first record was called Beyond Acheron. That was released in 2021. That lineup was Vincent Crowley on vocals, Art Taylor on guitar, Ryan Arter on drums. And I got those here. I actually got two versions of that record. I've got the one from Hellhammer Records. And I think this is the North American version. It's the one with the bonus tracks. So this is numbered at a 250. And I think that you can still get this on Hell's Headbangers. I was on the website last night. I saw it. I think it was on sale for $20. Get on Hell's Headbangers and buy this fucking thing. You won't regret it. It's fucking amazing. And this is the European version of that record. Actually, I got this right from Vincent himself. He signed it for me. You can see that. And this is the European version on Odium Records. It's without the bonus tracks, but still goddamn amazing. So if you're not familiar, pick it up. If you don't have it, get on Hell's Headbangers and pick it up. So eventually, Eric Stewart would join the band as the second guitar player. And then they rounded up the lineup eventually, Tim Wilson on bass. This brings us to Anthology of Horror. Let's pull up the artwork for it, shall we? I mean, it's fucking beautiful. And look at that, If you're a horror fan, you know exactly what that is. That's the Amityville House. That's a movie that means a lot to me. It scared the shit out of me as a kid, and it's always been one of my favorite horror movies. Not the remake with Ryan Reynolds, for Christ's sake, the original. And it's the haunted house movie, in my opinion. It's so fucking good. So Anthology of Horror plays just like an anthology, just kind of like a Tales from the Crypt or a Tales from the Dark Side or a Creep Show. It's 10 tracks, with the bonus track, but each track plays like, an individual episode. Each track is based on a different horror story. And some of the stories that Vincent Crowley even came up with. Really cool. So here's the record right here in all its beauty. I got two different versions of it. I got the black vinyl version and the red vinyl version, and I also got the CD version as well. Now, the vinyl versions do not have the bonus track Killer on it. That's the King Diamond cover. But this is the one I got from Amazon. This is the black version. And then the one back here is the red version I got right from Hammerheart. So beautifully done. I mean, geez. Vinyl sound great. They did a great job with it. The artwork is amazing. Let me pull up that artwork for the whole thing because it wraps around the whole record, so the back kind of goes into the front and vice versa. So let me pull it up for you just so you can see it in all its glory. There you go. That's the whole thing. You can see it. It's fucking beautiful, man. Just screams horror. It's beautifully done, And the artwork for that was done by a guy named Timo Juarez. Phenomenal job. So now the band collectively wrote the music for Anthology of Horror, and then Vincent Crowley wrote the vocals, the lyrics. So Vincent actually did a video on his channel, kind of laying it all out, kind of the history of the band, how it formed, all the way up to Anthology of Horror. He did a little intro on each track, explaining each track. So go on his channel, check out that video. I'm going to link it below. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to his channel. Really killer stuff. Amazing channel. So let's get at it, shall we? So this is the second full length from Vincent Crowley Band. It's 10 tracks, clocks in at 50 minutes. And, you know, the 10 tracks is with the bonus track, the King Diamond cover called Killer. The lineup on this is Vincent Crowley on vocals, Art Taylor on guitar, Eric Stewart on guitar, Tim Wilson on bass, Ryan Arter on drums. Recorded, mixed, mastered, engineered by Joe Veers, who also did the first record, Beyond Acheron. Did an amazing job. And Vincent, in that video he did, kind of refers to Joe Veers as the sixth member of the band, you know, an integral part of, you know, what they were trying to do. And like I said, phenomenal job. Beyond Acheron and Anthology of Horror. I just mentioned Timo Juarez. He did the cover art that all the wraps all the way around. He also did the first record as well, Beyond Acheron. Amazing job. Now, track one is the intro. It's done by a guy named Ludo from the band Malik Tha, if you didn't know. And the keyboards on the record were performed by Nocturnal from Nocturnus AD. You know, that was also on Vincent's video. You know, for reference, I used, you know, Vincent's video as a reference for doing my review. I used the records themselves. I used, you know, Metal Archives and, you know, whatever else I can dig up, even stuff directly from Vincent. Now, I was asking him questions about the record because I was getting ready for my review and I just wanted to get my facts straight, you know, so, but let's get into it, shall we? So the first track is the intro. You know, track number 2 is Amityville's Horror. And that was the second single that he dropped for this. He dropped it about a month ago. And I love that track, you know. You know, it's just like it says, it's based on the Amityville Horror, you know, the book and the movie, you know, it's, you know, if you haven't read the book, you got to read the book. So after the opening riff, about 17 seconds in, you get the first verse, you know, 112 Ocean Avenue is where the terror began. Like those lyrics like stick in my head. Like his lyrics, you know, paint a picture in your head. And that's one of the coolest things about this record, especially if you're a horror fan. You know, the music combined with the lyrics, you know, really paint pictures of every track here. And you, as you're listening to it and the songs progress, you know, you get these images in your head of kind of what's going on in these stories. And it's fucking brilliant. Like it really is. You know, when the chorus kicks in on Amityville's Horror, you get these haunting female kind of vocals in the background, melodic, you know, almost gothic. And it really adds this horror element to that track. 3 minutes into this track, it goes into this heavy fucking chugging riff. And then the drums kick in and it's almost like a mosh part. Like it's, you know, if I was watching Vincent Crowley live and that part came on, I would start the circle pit immediately for that part. It gets me going. Love that fucking part of the song. You know, you hear kind of the drums in the background. The drums really stand out on that track. Then at 3:26, the solo kicks in. Great solo, man. That lasts to about 3:50. And 4:14 goes into this slow kind of sort of chugging riff, heavy as fuck. 4:53, get another solo, you know, or more of kind of like a melodic arrangement towards the end of the track. I love this track. Amityville's Horror for me is a 10 out of 10. Love everything about it. Really fucking good. Track 3, That Which Lurks Below the Sea, clocks in at 5 minutes and 42 seconds. This was the first single that Vincent dropped for this record. I think back in December he dropped it. And it was kind of like a lyric video with this artwork with Cthulhu and everything. So yeah, it's based on, you know, the Cthulhu lore. If you're a Lovecraft fan, here's my Lovecraft Horror Stories book. Brilliant writer, you know, and that's what it's based on. So that track kind of starts out, you know, kind of slow, melodic and moody, you know, 21 seconds in, the first verse starts, 43 seconds goes into this heavy as fuck chugging riff. 220 sort of slows down. The drums kick in at 240, and then you hear like madness takes over us one at a time. Like really, really good stuff. At 3 minutes in, like 301, you get this kind of solo with this kind of echoey effect to it. Really stands out from the rest of the solos. Really, really killer. It really adds a cool vibe to the track, and that solo goes to about 324. And then, right after that, you could, it's painting a picture of the people on this boat that go out to seek this creature, which is Cthulhu. And they're like witnessing this creature like rising up from the sea, and like they're paralyzed in fear. They're like going crazy, even, madness takes over, one at a time. Those are the lyrics to that. And like they went out to seek this creature, and then he rises up from this fucking sea, and they can't believe it, and they're fucking going crazy. And then the fucking creature just rips them apart, like it just really paints that picture. I love that about this track, slimy tentacles latching on, ripping us apart. Really paints that picture, man. At 427, you get this kind of gothic, kind of female vocal in the background, with bells tolling, really paints that horror, has that horror feel to it. Super killer. Just like that feel from Amityville's Horror, you get the like female gothic kind of vocals in the background to create that kind of haunting effect. Really adds this amazing horror element to those tracks, really good. It's a 10 out of 10 track for me. I love it. The more I listened to That Which Lurks Below the Sea, the more I loved it. And, it's an amazing track. Track 4, no slouch, Under the Hanging Tree, clocks in at 6:01. Now, this is a story that Vincent created. He said it was inspired by the old witch hunts about a 9-year-old girl who gets hung by the townspeople after they find out she was practicing witchcraft. And, after it was all said and done, she kind of gets her revenge on those townspeople. So, love the opening guitar arrangement. Very King Diamond vibe on this one. Like, as soon as I put this track on, it reminded me of King Diamond's The Graveyard, if you're familiar with that record. These kind of haunting melodies, guitar arrangements, very King Diamond-ish. And I know that they're all big King Diamond fans in the Vincent Crowley band. Really shows through here. 104, you get this really catchy chorus. Like the choruses in this track are so goddamn catchy. Down by the swamp, there's a legendary place where evil comes alive and malevolence is faced. Like those lyrics are brilliant. Like they really are. You know, the guitar arrangements and the melodies, musically are beautifully done on this track. They really are. This track is a masterpiece, in my opinion. Another 10 out of 10 track for me. 254, you get this kind of slow, heavy as fuck, doomy riff, really good. 401, you get a solo to 435. Then right after it goes into like another kind of melodic King Diamond-ish kind of arrangement. You get these female spoken words. Misfortune to those who walk this site, tormented souls scream in the night. Again, another track that paints a picture in your head. You can picture what this fucking girl is doing to these townspeople, getting her revenge, seeking her vengeance, love it, man. 10 out of 10. That's such a good track, Track 5, Nowhere to Hide, clocks in at 6:26. It's the longest track on the record. Opens with a fast riff, which is a nice contrast to Under the Hanging Tree, because that was kind of like a slower track. It ends on kind of like a slow note. And then when Nowhere to Hide kicks in, it kicks in this fucking fast riff. So when I do my compilations and I have a slow track, I always put a fast track right after it for contrast. And that's kind of what they did here. I don't know if they did it on purpose, but it works for me. Like I get it. So opens with a fast riff. Like I said, nice contrast from the end of Under the Hanging Tree. 28 seconds, the first verse kicks in. When I'm by myself, I'm still not alone. Something's inside my mind. Now, this is obviously based on the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde story. Killer solos on this. Solo at 309, methodic, moody, fits the song well. That goes to about 350. Then you get another solo at 432 to 514. Same feel as the first. Those two solos kill on this, man. R and Eric kill it on this record when it comes to solos. They might be my favorite two solos on this record. You know, I have a lot of favorite things on this record, but those two solos are great, man. So let's go to track 6, Blood Moon, the Lycanthropy, clocks in at 6 minutes. This is Vincent's take on a werewolf movie. Mid-pace riff to open. First verse kicks in at 31 seconds. Very doomy riff to open. Slows down around the 145 mark. It really sets kind of a mood, you know, almost like a full moon is being revealed. You know, it's the kind of vibe I get when at that part, you know, and then the lyrics go, a sanguine glow illuminates the scene, contorting bodies all upon the hardened ground. Humans morphing into white wolfish beasts, transforming creatures encased in men. And you really get that vibe of what's going on there, right? Shortly after, you hear, let the hunt begin. And you know what's taking place. Really killer. Another track that really paints a picture in your head. Fucking love it. You know, then after that, you know, then immediately it transitions into this aggressive riff. You know, we can actually picture the werewolves hunting. Like that's the musically, the vibe that I get. You know, the werewolves are hunting and the music reflects that. Really fucking good. Solo at 411, goes all the way to 435. The bass really stands out on this track as well. That was one thing I was looking for. You know, I love to hear all the instruments sound good in this mix. I look for isolated drums and isolated bass, and the bass stands out in this track. You don't get isolated bass, but it's very audible and noticeable, and I dig that a lot. So let's go to track 7, Gods of Crimson Callings. It clocks in at 4:15. It's the shortest track on the record. Drum intro to open, isolated drums. Love it. I always look for isolated drums and isolated bass in parts on records when I do my reviews. They stand out for me. This one stands out for me, those drums. Great job. Now, Gods and Crimson Callings is kind of Vincent's version of a vampire story. In this version, vampires are brought to the world as aliens and they use humans for their slaves. You know, really good. He lays it out in his video that I'm going to link below that I already talked about. So check out that video, his description of, you know, what the track is about. First verse starts at 44 seconds in. Like I said, drums really stand out, you know, particularly at the 150 mark. Then at the 223 mark, one of my favorite parts of the record is this haunting fucking chorus, you know, and it goes something like, put on a path where only the chosen see, replenishing our kind with only a few worthy. Vampires, vampires, arise and reshape the earth. Like, that is so good. Like, gives me chills. It's so good. Like, that melody of that chorus, you know, with the music in the background, blows my fucking doors off. It's so good. It's one of those parts that I like. I wake up in the morning and I have that stuck in my head, that part of Gods and Crimson Callings. Like, holy shit, that's so good. Amazing job. Amazing songwriting, musically, lyrically, really speaks to me. Again, another track that really paints that picture for me. And fuck, I love that. I love the cadence of the vocals and everything about it, man. It's so fucking good. Killer solo immediately follow that at 240 to 257. Then you get in like Vincent's deep vocals, you know, this is our blood, take a drink, you know, fucking so killer. Another killer solo at 330 that goes to 346. And then they kind of repeat that melodic kind of chorus again, you know, yet you rebelled and severed the sacred link. Vengeance will come along with your suffering. Vampires, vampires, arise and reclaim the earth. Like, oh, so good. Like, that's a 10 out of 10 for me, that track. I love everything about it. Fucking brilliant. Gods of Crimson Callings. Check it out. Track 8 is called Coupe de Poudre. Vincent states this is influenced by the movie The Serpent and the Rainbow, with kind of his own take on it. Starts with a fast, heavy riff, goes into the first verse, kind of thrashes. I kind of dig that. I love the verses and the cadence of the verses on this track. Again, this is another track where the drums really stand out for me. Dig the drumming in this track. Killer solos. You got a solo at 125 to 112 to 125, short but really killer. Another solo at 346 to 411. That second solo is one of my favorite solos on the record. Again, Art and Eric kill it on this record from a guitar standpoint. Really set the mood for what's going on. Amazing stuff. Also love the drums on this track as well. They really stand out. Amazing job by Ryan on that as well. So fucking great job, man. Track 9, Madame Laveau, Voodoo Queen, clocks in at 5 minutes and 19 seconds. Doomy riff to open. Love the chorus on this one. Again, King Diamond vibes, just like Under the Hanging Tree. I get a real King Diamond vibe from this track. Amazing solo at 352 to 452. Right after that, you get this kind of headbanger of a part and a deep growl from Vincent on that. Fuck. Really good. Now, this track is about Marie Laveau from Louisiana, who was referred to as the Voodoo Queen. So he lays it out in that video again. Watch that video with his description on it. Track 10 is the bonus track that you only get on the CD. It's killer, King Diamond cover. And the King Diamond vibes are so strong in this record that it's no surprise that they're covering King Diamond. I know they're all King Diamond fans. In fact, both Art Taylor and Eric Stewart were once in a King Diamond Merciful Fate tribute band together called Them. I got that right from Vincent. And what's great about this cover is, not a lot of bands are covering Killer. Like, I don't know any bands who cover Killer by King Diamond, so it's pretty unique in that nobody else covers it. And, they make it their own, and that's the great thing about a good cover is the band pays homage to the artist who wrote it, but kind of puts their own spin on it. And that's what makes a really good cover in my book. And they absolutely do that here. Vincent even changed the lines a little bit, like King Diamond's version is like, I don't need that silly priest. And Vincent changes, goes, I don't need that fucking priest. Like, I love that. Like, I love that shit. I love evil lyrics. And that's right up my alley. Like, when I heard that, like, I was grinning ear to ear. I was like the Joker on that one. Ooh. And he kind of adds his own spin on it at the end, where King Diamond's version, he says, it's time. And then you hear Vincent's laugh. He's like, ha, 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 it's time. A funny thing when I was listening to the track, I'm like, damn. I was like, I wonder if Vincent's going to sing at least one line in falsetto. I would have loved to hear Vincent sing like at least one line in falsetto, like a chorus or something. I think that would have been hilarious for him at least to do one. So we were looking for that. I didn't get it. I didn't think we were going to get it, but it would have been fun anyway. So amazing cover, really, really fucking killer. There's your 10 tracks. The first track is a intro. So, I mean, in closing, what do I like about this record? I mean, can you tell that I like it? Is that coming through at all? First of all, I'm a horror fan. I love the horror theme of the record. It's definitely got that horror feel to it. The entire record has a feel. I love records with a feel. Some of my favorite records have feels, and Justice for All has a feel. South of Heaven has a feel. The first Deicide record has a feel. Dawn to Possession has a feel. Overkill, Under the Influence, Years of Decay, they have a feel. This record has a feel, and by all rights, so does the first Acheron record, so does the first Vincent Crowley record, Beyond Acheron. That has a feel as well. That is conveyed throughout, from the moment it kicks in, the whole record's got a feel, and I love that about this record. You put this record on the turntable and it just sucks you in musically, lyrically. Your mind is thinking about, the lyrics with the picture that's being painted in your mind by the music and the lyrics. I love the sound. I love the lyrics. I love the vocals. I love everything about it, really. The songwriting is off the charts on this record. They did a tremendous job. I think that the music and the lyrics complement each other perfectly for what they were trying to do here. It's really, I was going to say a match made in heaven, but that doesn't pertain here. It's kind of like a match made in hell, so get heaven out the window. It's a match made in hell, like Halloween 4. Remember Halloween 4 when they're like walking into the asylum and the guy says Jesus, and the security guard says Jesus ain't got nothing to do with this place. That's kind of like that, really killer. like I've been saying throughout the whole review, the lyrics really paint a picture of what's going on, with the music as well. And the music and the lyrics together really put you in the story. Like you feel like you're watching it, or it paints that picture in your mind. And I love that about this record. Example, I think I talked about it, when I talked about the track on That Which Lurks Below the Sea. When it slows down and those drums kick in, you get that cool kind of echoey solo. You can picture the creature, which is Cthulhu, rising out of the water. It's dark. You got the moonlight, glowing on the water. You got these people on this boat witnessing this fucking creature coming up out of the water, and they're fucking paralyzed in fear, and they're starting to go crazy because they know they're gonna die. And I love that. Like, it's just, like I said, lyrics, music together paint that picture. It's done brilliantly on this record. It's just, and even the lyrics, madness takes over us one at a time, fucking brilliant. They're brilliant. It's brilliant songwriting, brilliant lyrics. The songwriting on this record is off the charts. Like I said, it puts you in the story. I think Vincent, is an underrated lyricist. He really writes lyrics that paint that picture. Like these records are perfect for him, for his horror fandom, and what he's trying to convey and put out there. And even going back to the first record, Beyond Acheron, I listened to that a bunch today. And like even tracks like, Where No Light Shines, Bring Forth the Dead, Masquerade du Macabre, Farewell at Death's Door. You read the lyrics to that and you listen to the music, and it's very similar to Anthology of Horror. Music and lyrics really paint a picture in your head. Fucking brilliant stuff. And I even went back to Acheron. Like I listened to a bunch of Acheron today, and tracks like The Entity, which is one of my favorite Acheron tracks ever. That track paints a picture. I love evil lyrics. The Acheron lyrics are definitely more evil and satanic than Anthology of Horror stuff, but lyrically, again, he's doing the same stuff that he was kind of doing in Acheron. The Entity, Rapture to Divine Perversions, The Kindred, Out of Body, Thy Father's Suicide, Devil's Black Blood, all kind of paint a picture. Paint a picture in your mind. So I don't think he gets enough credit as a lyricist. Brilliant, brilliant musician and lyricist, man. Just amazing stuff. As far as the instruments, they all sound great in the mix along with the vocals. It's not overproduced. You can hear all the instruments. Joe Veers did an amazing job again on Anthology of Horror, just like he did on Beyond Acheron. I love the solos on this record. Every track has a solo or multiple solos. The solos are beautifully done. Art Taylor and Eric Stewart killed it. Ryan Arter kills it on drums. Tim Wilson kills it on bass. If I had to nitpick anything about this record, which is really tough to do because I fucking love it so much, I would have loved some isolated bass parts here or there. I always look for that on my reviews. I love to give the bass player and the drummer the spotlight, in certain parts of the record. The drums definitely did get the spotlight here in a lot of parts, but I feel like the bass could have got more. And that's not really, I'm just nitpicking. I was just trying to find something that I could nitpick about it. And that's really not even a nitpick. It's just something I would have liked to hear more. Isolated bass. And if you guys watch my reviews, you know that I love to hear isolated bass in parts, As much as I love Acheron, I think I love the Vincent Crowley band probably even more than that. I really do. I love what they're doing. And Anthology of Horror is everything I wanted and more, And for a record that I was anticipating, if you anticipate something and you finally get it, a lot of times you're let down. Not this time. Like, I anticipated it, I wanted it, I got it. It was everything I wanted and more. They did an amazing job on all fronts here. I can't say enough good things about it. Let's score it, shall we? I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10. Like I said, love this record so fucking much. Now, I don't know if you could tell, but this review kind of meant a lot to me. Like, I really wanted to do it justice. I really wanted to say how I felt about it, top to bottom. And, the review meant a lot to me. This band means a lot to me. And, Vincent was my first guest on the channel way back in October of last year. And I really wanted to do him justice, the band justice, and the review justice. Hopefully I did that here. And hopefully if you watch this review, it'll motivate you to go out and listen to the record and hopefully pick it up. So pick up the new record, Anthology of Horror. Let's get that fucking artwork back on here, shall we? It's goddamn beautiful. Timo Juarez. Pick up the new record, man. It's fucking amazing, front to back, beautifully done. Hammerheart did an amazing job with it. The packaging, the vinyl sound amazing. It's a stunning record, man. It really is. I can't say enough good things about it. And like I said, it's everything I wanted and more, and that's kind of the highest compliment I can give. 9.5 out of 10. Realm Skulls. As far as 2024 goes, it's fucking March 1st, and we've already got some amazing records here. Between this record, the Morbid Saint record, and the New Inquisition, 3 killer fucking records. And this is definitely going to be in my top 3 for sure. There's no doubt in my mind. Whatever happens for the rest of the year, we'll see what happens. We'll see what we get. But, Anthology of Horror, man, go pick it up. Hails to the Vincent Crowley band. You guys rule. And thanks for hanging with me on the Realms of Metal on a Friday. It's Friday night now. It's fucking dark. It was light when I started this video, and now it's dark. So have a killer rest of the weekend. We'll see you guys real soon.